At this point, yeah, as far as I know, I am.
Okay. So we'll meet again next Wednesday, June 18th, then July 1st and July 15th.
Okay.
Next item is the approval of payroll and vendor warrants.
You take that one.
Motion to approve the current payroll and vendor warrants.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is citizen speak. Is there anyone here for citizen speak tonight? Seeing none, we'll go on to number 6 on our agenda, which is the estoppel certificate for Quarry Hills Associates.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign an estoppel certificate between the town and Quarry Hills Associates regarding the lease of town-owned property by Quarry Hills located off Randolph Ave.
Second.
Any discussion?
Other than maybe you want to
Explain what
explain
Madam-
what it's for.
This affirms that the lease is in effect and that the lessee is current in its obligations with the lease. This estoppel agreement has been reviewed by town council, and he has made a few recommendations for changes which were approved by the lender in Quarry Hills. So you did receive a revised estoppel agreement this afternoon. The town council has recommended that you approve and sign the estoppel agreement.
Okay, and I think he made some good changes.
And this is a pretty common certificate for
Right.
financing transactions, so
Yeah.
landlord transactions. Okay, then any other discussion on this? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, the next item is an end-of-year transfer request from the Board of Health. And Caroline Kinsiller, our Public Health Director, is here to meet with us about that.
Hi, Karen.
Good evening, Caroline.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for meeting with me.
Not a problem.
So the Board of Health is coming to you, the selectmen, to take advantage of the process that allows a transfer of funds between line items during the last 2 months of fiscal year 2014. With your approval, the transfer may not exceed 3% of the annual budget of our Board of Health Department. We're requesting 3% of our salary budget line. The amount requested is $5,466.24, which is 3% of $182,208.
And the reason for the transfer is for additional training for...
Yes, additional training, certifications, memberships that are needed.
Okay.
And this is a pretty common request, as we know from our days on the warrant
Warrant
committee.
committee, that's right.
That we also need a warrant committee chairman to sign off on
Yes.
this type of a request, so.
End-of-year rearrangement. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve a one-time end-of-year transfer of funds from the Board of Health fiscal year 2014 salary and wage line to the fiscal year 2014 general expense line in the amount of $5,466.24 to cover cross-training that is necessary due to a major reorganization of the Board of Health.
Second.
And we know that the major reorganization of the Board of Health was because we went to them and
We stole their...
the prior public health director is now the assistant town administrator. So it's obvious that for training purposes, you need to move money from the salary line to the expense line. So it seems like it's a good use of this 3% rule. I did speak with Roxanne Musto today about a couple of different issues, but she mentioned that her board had voted to approve this as well. So anything else, Caroline, that you wanted to add before we take a vote?
Did you have a reserve fund transfer last year, do you know, Caroline?
Last year, I know recently we had a reserve fund transfer for expenses to advertise for our positions twice, I believe, recently. And we were going to have to...
Doesn't often come in for reserve fund transfer.
Right. That's what I was saying. I haven't seen them in a couple of
Yeah.
years. So.
This isn't really reserve fund transfer because it's just moving stuff from one budget line item to another. So it's really not adding anything to their budget. It's
Right,
just
but this is coming out of the reserve fund, right?
no,
Where is it coming out
their
of?
budget. It's just moving from their salary line to their general expense line.
Okay. I see.
The only reason the warrant committee chairman needs to sign off on it is the state law requires the selectmen and the finance committee to approve it. So, so they'll need to take a vote on this as well. Then, if no other discussion, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for coming in, Caroline.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8, the approval of the annual dog warrant.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the annual dog warrant given the Chief of Police authority in keeping with the provisions of Massachusetts general law to deal with canine-related issues in the town.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. We have a one-day liquor license.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve a request from We Are Milton for a one-day liquor license for a Celtic music event that is scheduled for June 22nd, 2014, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Hutchinson Field.
I'll second. For discussion.
Any discussion?
I'm not sure if this is the right time to talk about this event, but it is a big event coming up on June 21st and 22nd, Saturday night. We're going to have the fireworks at Hutchinson Field. There's going to be children's activities beforehand. I believe it starts at 4 and it goes to about 9:30, and then the fireworks start. And then on Sunday we have a Milton Celtic Music Festival, which starts at 1 and it goes all the way to about 7 o'clock. They brought a big band over from Ireland as well, and there's like 4 more bands during the day.
It should be a great weekend.
It is. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, and so if anybody is interested in checking it out, there is a website called wearemilton.org, and all the information is on there, and we hope to get a big crowd.
And Linda Lee and Brian Kelly and all those people on the committee have done a great job in organizing the past 2 years now.
Absolutely, they've done Trojan work over the last, especially...
Not an easy event to pull together, and they
Right.
do a great job.
It's a continuation, isn't it, of the group that got the 350th
yeah,
anniversary
pretty much,
celebration, and this is something they wanted to continue year after that. Yeah, I know it'll be a great event, so hopefully a lot of people will come out for it.
Yeah.
Then, if not, any other discussion on the motion to approve the one-day liquor license? And if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, number 10 is the contract with the Milton Public Library Staff Association that the town administrator will give us a brief update on.
Yes, Madam Chair. This is a 3-year negotiated contract, so it's fiscal year 14, 15, 16. The wages are a 2% for 14, 2% for 15, and a 1-1 split for 16, a 1% on July 1st of 15, and a 1% on January 1st of 16. There were some other incentives, an increase in their longevity, and some changes to their sick leave buyback program. But the success that I feel that comes from this contract negotiation is that the town will receive some reduction in benefits going forward for new employees, and one of those reductions will be the elimination of sick leave buyback, which is a huge, as you know, unfunded liability on the town, and the other will be the reduction in sick time accrual. And the other will be the reduction in personal day accrual. So those are 3 benefit changes for new employees going forward that you won't see an immediate savings, but you will see it down the road, and so I think that's exciting. I'll wait for the next contract, so you can
Okay.
vote this one.
I guess the nice thing about this is it is a 3-year contract, and we are making a concerted effort this year to move to 3-year contracts for a number of reasons. But number one is it makes for better planning because we know what the salary future looks like for the next 3 years, so for purposes of forecasting and budgeting. Plus, if you have to do contracts every year, as soon as you complete one contract, it's time to start the next contract, and you never get anything else done other than contracts. So,
Yes.
so it is a good thing.
Yes, though I say this is a 3-year contract, we will be back at the table in a year and a half.
Right.
So, let's have
So
support.
I'll make a motion to approve a contract between the Town of Milton and the Milton Public Library Staff Association for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? I just wanted to mention, just really to reiterate for the public's benefit, what the town administrator said, that elimination of sick leave buyback for new employees, not our current employees, but
That's
new
right.
employees is a big
Long-term.
going to be
point.
a-
It's going
gonna
to
be a
really have
huge
some
savings.
long-term cost savings. So that, as you said, they won't be immediate, but
That's
but
right.
I think that was a good outcome in this case. And I know just for the public's benefit, all of the unions are out of contract right now, so you've been negotiating with, is it seven unions? 7 unions over the course of the last so many months, which has taken up a considerable amount of time and effort. So I think a good result here by the town administrator and by the union negotiating.
Yes.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. The next contract is with the Southeastern Public Employees Association.
Yes, Madam Chair, that also is a 3-year contract, fiscal 14, 15, 16, the same percentage increases, which are 2% for fiscal year 14, 2% for fiscal year 15, and the 1-1 split for 16. Again, this is another group that we got some concessions and benefit reductions on. It's for the new employees. There'll be elimination of sick leave buyback for this group, as well as a reduction in sick time accrual and the reduction in personal days. And the changes that were made were minor changes in the reclassification procedure and longevity. And sick leave buyback was realigned for current employees.
I'll make a motion to approve a contract between the town of Milton and the Milton Clerical Union of Southeastern Public Employees Association for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? Again, I think a good outcome for all involved here. And thank you to everyone for their participation in these negotiations.
Your patience, Anne Marie. Takes a lot of patience.
It does.
Thank you.
Then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, number 12, temporary signage request for the Milton Arts Center.
Make a motion to approve a request from the Milton Arts Center to display 2 signs at the following locations announcing the Mac Garden Party scheduled for Friday, June 20th, 2014. Brook Road and Adams Street in front of St. Agatha's, and the intersection of Blue Hills Parkway and Canton Ave.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, boards and committee appointments, we have 2 for the Cultural Council and the Long Range Planning.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of the following members to the Cultural Council to serve through May 2017. Tosin Olanian, Veronica Guerrero Messia, David Levy, Elizabeth Neville, Taya Polga.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dennis did a good job on those names, didn't he? Better you than me.
Thank them all for serving. The next one is I'm sorry, I said long range. It's the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of the following members to the Local Emergency Planning Committee to serve through June 2015. Robert Atkinson, BDI Milton Hospital. Michael Blanchard, Assistant Town Administrator. Charles Caputo, Milton Police. Brian Carlisle, Assistant Director, DPW. Bill Clark, Director of Planning and Community Development. John Fleming, Milton Auxiliary Fire. Margaret Gibbons, Milton Public Schools. John Grant, Fire Chief. Chris Grazioso, Fallon Ambulance. Brian Greeley, Curry College Security Staff. Jay Hackett, Milton Academy Security Director. Paul Hopkins, Races Auxiliary Fire. Caroline Kinsella, Public Health Director, Nurse. Brian Lenahan, Deputy Fire Chief. Joseph Lynch, Director of DPW. Michael Lynch, MPEG Access TV. Robert Mallett, Information Technology. Buddy McDermott, Races Auxiliary Fire. Cynthia Page, BID Milton Emergency Planning. Joseph Prondak, Building Commissioner. William Ritchie, Consolidated Facilities Director. Mary Ann Sullivan, Director of Council on Aging. Richard Wells, Police Chief. Mark Williams, Milton Emergency Management Director.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that one? No. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you also to that very big group for serving. Okay, the next item is the Town Administrator's Report.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have 2 items to speak about this evening. The first is notification from Massachusetts Housing Partnership of the determination for project eligibility for the Hendry's 40B project. This is the 57-unit project down on Central Avenue, corner of Central Avenue, Elliott Street. This letter will be up on the website under the 40B projects. The second item I wanted to talk about is that the town has been notified that the governor on June 6th signed the Chapter 149 Acts of 2014. This is the act that authorizes the town to assess an additional amount on the real estate and personal property taxes in order to pay for that medically obligated cost for the
Firefighter.
safety personnel.
Now, we'll have to take a vote to put that on a ballot at some point in time.
Exactly, yes.
Probably should get that scheduled.
So we should schedule a discussion on that, maybe at one of our summer,
Yeah.
maybe even the next meeting or the July meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, because I would think you'd want to get it on either September or November.
September or November ballot, I would
Yeah.
assume you'd want to get it on. Yep. So that's
Okay,
it,
so we'll
Madam
schedule
Chair.
a discussion on that for. Okay, Chairman's report. The only things that I wanted to report on are mainly
This is our conservation.
downstairs is the Conservation Commission meeting.
There's an elevator if you want to be in the building. Thank you.
The only things I wanted to report on are that
Oh, at this end.
not really a report, but just to notify the public about that the Master Plan Committee is having two important meetings this week. Tom, you're a member of that committee,
Yes.
so you know about these, but there's a roundtable discussion tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Cunningham Hall, and it's a discussion about housing.
Correct.
And then there's an open house that the Master Plan Committee is having on Saturday morning. It's going to be at the library, the Keys Conference Room, from 9:30 to 12:30. I don't really know what the open house is
The open house is very
about.
similar to the one that was held at
Fuller?
Fuller Village that was in the fall, I believe, wasn't it? Was that last fall? It's a while back.
It was, maybe about 6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. So very similar to that, where they'll have a bunch of stations and, people can, the first part was more just a kind of vision, here are the goals and objectives and people commenting on them. So it's just a furtherance of that more than anything else.
So an opportunity for further input from
Yeah.
the public,
Mhm.
at both of them, really.
Really, yeah, both of them, yeah.
And although I guess tomorrow night's is all about housing, the one on
Right.
Saturday is probably a broader topic than just
Right.
housing.
And housing will have a roundtable group of people that are similar to the ones they've held at Glover and Tucker on other separate issues. Again, just so that the committee can kind of form opinions based upon public feedback of what types of things should be in the master plan.
So two important meetings. Hopefully, a lot of members from the public can go to both of those. Again, tomorrow night, the roundtable at 7 o'clock at Cunningham, and Saturday at the library
Right.
in the morning, 9:30 to 12:30.
And again, people should understand that this isn't the master plans committee master plan. This is the town's master plan. So, if you want a voice in it, try and get to one of those meetings and make your voice heard, because that's what makes a vibrant town.
Good, okay. The only other things are the Forbes House Museum is having an event with the Irish Consul General next Tuesday night, which is actually the reason that we moved our meeting from Tuesday to Wednesday. So I believe that starts at 7, Dennis?
Yes.
At the Forbes Museum. And I did speak with Roxanne Musto, the chair of the Board of Health, primarily about the airplane noise issue. And
I'm glad you mentioned that, yeah. Good.
we do have it, Dennis had already asked that we put the airplane noise topic back on our agenda for next Wednesday.
Okay.
But I spoke with Roxanne, and we talked about some different ideas about possibly the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen.
Joint meeting.
Having a joint meeting at some point, maybe the chairs and the town administrator and the public health director meeting first to plan for that, possibly appointing a committee jointly, and just some different ideas that they had. I guess they did have a citizen speak last night with quite a number of people in to talk about the issue. So
Right.
to see what further actions we can take. But they're interested in working with us, and I know we're interested in working with them. And
Yeah, a lot of this was spurred on by the state health study, which, as I read through it, said that if you're in that critical high area, there's definitely a correlation between COPD and other types of breathing diseases in that area. But as you move further back, it gets considerably less. But
And the public health director did take part in a conference call about that
yes,
study.
that's what the study said, yeah.
So-
All the affected towns, I think like 17 affected
I think
towns.
so, yeah. So we'll have the topic on our agenda for next week, but in the meantime, we'll see if we can get a joint meeting between the two boards for some time in July.
Mhm. Good
After
idea.
after we have a small group discussion on what some of the ideas are, so we can put together an agenda and think about what the next steps there might be. Do we have anything for citizen speak response? We didn't have one tonight, but anything from the prior week or the,
Can't remember what.
I was going to say the same thing. I can't remember what we talked about.
well, again, it was airplane noise or the Henry's building with the last couple of topics.
Yes.
Okay, then, next meeting or agenda items. We did talk about putting the fire space needs study
Yes.
on for a future meeting. Airplane noise. One thing that I thought we might want to put on is, we've talked a lot in the past about trying to delegate some of our duties to the town administrator.
Mhm.
And try, maybe if all three of us come up with things that we think would be appropriate to, and then we can get a motion voted in, or hopefully in July, to take some of the things off our plate, maybe things like walks and runs, approvals for those.
Sure.
Maybe if we all give some ideas to the town administrator, then we can have a discussion on it, either at the next meeting or in the first week in July.
I'm wondering, Katie, if we could have department heads, coming back in again, at least one every meeting, to give us an update on their,
For the quarterly reports?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah, we haven't had one in the last couple of meetings, but yeah, I think that's something that we want to do on an ongoing basis.
yeah.
The fire chief is scheduled for your June 18th meeting.
June
Yeah,
18th.
I think
Yes.
We were trying to get Amy to give us a
With-
fiscal flash report every quarter, too.
With year end and the other.
Yeah, it gets tough, I know.
She was going to try to come in on June 18th, but it's just, we've been really busy with
Mhm.
the year end.
Mhm.
So she's going to come into your July meeting.
Okay, good. The other things, and again, I don't know if they're ready, but we haven't heard anything from the Granite Ave Study Committee. I would like to hear something from them in terms of where they stand on things.
Yeah, I did talk to Brian Furs about that maybe a couple of weeks ago, and they were setting up a meeting with Mass Development.
Mhm.
So that needed to be, there was some scheduling issues there, but
Okay.
I think as soon as they had that meeting, that
And the other one
They
was
would be
the Government
reporting
Study
back.
Committee. Again, it's been a while. I know it took a
The other
long
one,
time
too?
to get
What was that, Tom?
the Government Study Committee,
Government
just
Study, yeah.
kind of hear from them, because we haven't heard from them in quite a while, in terms of, what they've been up to.
And where are we
I
with
did
the
talk to
housing
Rick Neely
production
not
plan?
too long ago. There are now 2 vacancies because the moderator has one more appointment.
Yeah,
And we
now-
now have an appointment to
Right.
make because Marvin Gordon has resigned. So that's always an opportunity to ask people who are watching, if anyone's interested in serving, to contact one of us or the office to submit an application. But, so you want to put them on for a future meeting?
I would, yeah, just again, to see what's going on, what type of things they're talking about, and, if they've done anything with the DOR report in terms of discussing it, and, just get some feedback.
Yeah, okay. All right. I thought we might also want to do, and I'm not sure how we would do this, but maybe some kind of breakdown of the town meeting, because there were a number of things that came out of that. We have that article about Curry College that was referred back to us. There were a couple of things that
Yeah.
referred to us,
Yeah.
and things that we need to do to follow up
Mhm.
on. So I thought we might want to put that on for one of the early July meetings.
And I'm wondering if we could do it in July or August as well, not to put the town administrator under pressure, but to give us an update on where you are with your goals. You don't have to do it now,
Mhm.
but in the future.
Okay.
Because we did spend a Saturday,
Yes.
a lot of time on that, so.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, then, the next item, this meeting has gone by pretty quickly, is a motion for executive session. So, but we will be returning to adjourn and then to have a meeting of the Governor Stoughton Fund. So I will move that we enter executive session to discuss collective bargaining strategy, police superior officer's contract, believing that having this conversation in open session would have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the body, and to return to open session to adjourn.
Second,
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hurley?
yes.
Yes. Okay, we're in executive session, but we will be returning to adjourn and then to convene a meeting of the Governor Stoughton Fund.
Is it going to be enough?
I've never met her before.
Garris North from Northern Hesse.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Okay, we're back on, so we're back in open session, and motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're adjourned. We're going to convene a meeting of the trustees of the Governor Stoughton Fund. First item on our agenda is approval of some meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
April 22nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the following Governor Stoughton meeting minutes. You want to do them separately, or?
We can do them all at once. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yep.
April 22nd, May 1st, May 5th, May 6th, and May 8th, 2014.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, unanimously approved the meeting minutes. Okay, the item on our agenda is a discussion of an archaeological reconnaissance survey contract. So everyone should have a copy of a proposal. It's from Archaeological and Historical Services, Inc. of Storrs, Connecticut. We had a meeting, let me just give some background on this. The town administrator, the town planner, town council, and I had a meeting with two representatives of Pulte Homes. Was it last week? I think it was
Yes,
last
on
week.
the 4th, yes, June
On the 4th. Mainly because we've obviously just changed chairs, so it was a chance for me to meet them. Dennis, I know you've had some meetings with them during the course of the year. And in the context of that, the idea was to bring up this issue that a resident has raised an issue that there may be a Native American burial ground on the site of the town farm. We didn't even really need to bring it up. They had already heard about it. They've already done they had already contacted some archaeological firms about it. So they had read the press stories, and Pulte feels that it is worth hiring an expert to look into this issue. And we discussed the fact that it's a wooded lot. There's a lot of ledge on the property. This is the first time this has been raised. So even a few years ago during the RFP process, my understanding and everyone's understanding at that meeting was that this issue of a Native American burial ground possibly being there had not been raised at that point. This is a fairly recent development. So Pulte was willing to engage an archaeologist to come in and do some work. And it's laid out here in this proposal. There's a Phase 1A and a Phase 1B. So Phase 1A is at the top of the second page. So it would involve doing some documentary research, walking the site, doing some subsurface testing, mainly in the areas where these mounds were discovered, stone mounds that was raised as a possibility for a potential burial ground site. So they would do some testing there, and depending on what is found or is not found, that would determine whether we would go on to any further stage of this.
Yeah, I think it's a wise idea. I mean, it's just to put it to rest, or if there are in fact burial grounds there to make sure that they're properly dealt with.
Now, this company's proposed fee is $8,300. Pulte had talked with two other contractors, potential contractors, who would have charged considerably more money and would have had more people involved. One of them, I think, was UMass,
Yes.
and they would have involved some students taking part in this as part of a classroom project as well. So, but as I said, those were considerably more expensive. So what they have asked is that not the town, but the trust share the cost of the study. So they'd be asking us to pay half. They would pay half. And we said that we would discuss this at this meeting tonight.
I think that's reasonable.
I think it is reasonable. I mean, it's, as I said, it's incumbent on the trustees of the Governor Stoughton Trust to make sure that we're doing the right thing before we allow any building to go on there.
Right.
Or we may regret it.
It's short dollars for peace of mind, I think, really. So
Yeah. And because we would still have the 4 of the acres,
it benefits us too.
we may
yeah.
want to do something with those remaining 4 acres at a later date once we determine what those 4 acres would be. So
they'll do work on the 4 acres as well?
well, they're going to look at certain parts of the site where they're going to look at the area where these earthen mounds are, and
Yeah.
they're going to walk the entire site and see, based on their visual survey of the land, where they think obviously based on whatever experience this company has. On the last page, they do discuss their experience, that they have 30 years of archaeological work. They've done work for the Mass Department of Transportation, Mass Historical Commission. So based on their technical expertise, they would determine where they might
Yeah.
have to do any testing.
And there's no doubt, looking at their resume, they're more than qualified for this. They've done over 500 archaeological surveys.
Yep.
They've worked with the Mashpee and Gayhead tribes. So I think they're,
They have a lot of experience with Native
Yeah.
American issues in particular.
Mhm.
So I agree. I think that this is something that,
is this something they can get going on immediately, or if we approve it tonight? Or?
yeah, this is a proposal, so I think there probably would have to be a contract signed, and I think the issue for us would be if we're sharing the cost, we'd probably want to be jointly
On the contract. yeah.
engaging them to do the work and to be receiving a copy of the contract. So,
I'll make a motion that, that the town and Pulte jointly enter into a contract, or accept the proposal, I guess, of, what's the name of the
Archaeological and Historical Services, Inc.
Archaeological and Historical Services, Inc., for the purpose of determining whether there are any Indian burial grounds on the Governor Stoughton site.
I think you said town.
Said the town, but it's the
Dennis-
governor.
Governor Stoughton, yes, I'm
Dennis
sorry.
is offering a friendly amendment
Yes,
to change that
I
to
agree.
the trust.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Then if not, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, unanimous. Okay. I believe that's our only item for the open session.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and we've already approved the meeting minutes, did we do that?
Yep.
Okay. Then I will move that we enter executive session to discuss strategy with respect to imminently threatened litigation by Pulte Homes of New England LLC involving an abbreviated notice of resource delineation, ANRAD, regarding the Governor Stoughton property, and to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, 208 Governor Stoughton Lane, believing that having these discussions in open session would have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the body, and to return to open session to adjourn.
Second.
Mr.
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
And yes. Okay, we're in executive session.